Are you ready? Let's step. Everybody is watching you. You're doing pretty good. Perfect. Okay. Are you ready? Let's reveal your soul. Watching the sequence, okay? Feel the rhythm of your body. No good. Hey, what's that?
And maybe we should just leave that to the professionals, huh? Speaking of which... Hey, yeah, so today we're talking about Olivia, right? So, everyone loves Olivia, right? I mean, come on, no, not really. I mean, I actually really like her. She's one of my top 15, 10 characters maybe in Fire Emblem Awakening, but and she is one of my favorite dancers to date, but she's not exactly amazing in terms of combat effectiveness and dancing powers. I mean, there's been better ones, and which we'll go over in a minute, but I do like her personality is amusing, although admittedly, like with Virion, Inigo is her son, is the perfect mix of her and Virion's personalities. And he's just the most amazing character. I really like Inigo, okay? Like, he's one of my new favorite characters of all time. Yeah, okay? You get it. Anyway, we're not talking about Inigo, we're talking about Olivia. So, we're going to start this. No French! Stupid Virion! Dang it! We're going to start with a look at Olivia's growth rates and other shizzle. Let's go. Olivia's growth rates. Wow. Okay, let's take a look at these. HP at 40% is pretty mediocre. Strength 35 is not terrible, but not amazing either. Magic 25, meh. Possible to use magic with her, and I did a little bit, but it's not going to be her strong suit. Skill and speed are fantastic. Luck, thank God, is good. I'm kind of getting sick of characters with bad luck. This is a welcome relief. Defense and resistance, very low, but shockingly not as low as Gaius's defenses, so weird. Anyway, as you can see, Dancer has abysmal growth rate. It has 35 strength, 35 HP, plus 5 strength, and 0 magic. It basically has no offensive firepower at all. Skill and speed are actually quite good, and the defenses are crap, and so are the HP. So basically everything is bad except for skill and speed. But
you know, I guess I can't argue with it. I mean, that makes sense for a dancer, but still, it's terrible. As soon as you get the chance, you should just change her class into something else, which we'll be going into later. Her other options being Myrmidon and Pegasus Knight. Overall, stat-wise, Myrmidon will give a slightly better edge in terms of strength, but Pegasus Knight does give the edge in magic and resistance, so if you want her to be using magic at any point, Pegasus Knight. And the resistance is a nice touch, although you really won't be noticing the 5% boost most of the time. I don't know if you guys ever looked at this, but Falcon Knight and Darkflyer, if you looked at just their stats, Darkflyer has pretty bad growth rates actually, because they lose 5 points in skill and speed and strength for a 5 bump in magic. That's it. It gets 5 extra magic at the cost of 5 skill, 5 speed, and 5 strength. Not really worth it. But then again, I'm still going to tell you to go into Darkflyer because guess what? It has Gale Force. Anyway, let's get on to the characters, Olivia's classes, and other options and stuff like that.
Thinking about her growth rates makes me nauseous. But I mean, they're not really that bad. Whatever. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about her classes now. Sorry, I'm still distracted. Okay, so there's basically 2 ways you can go with Olivia, okay? And I'm going to go over both of them briefly, but assuming you want her to be a dancer, there's really only one route, and that's the one we're going to hit primarily. Now, the first thing you need to do is get her the fudge out of dancer, seriously. As I said before, it has crap growth, like so pitifully terrible. So if you want her to be any good, you can't have her in dancer. You have to get her up to level 10 dancer and then get out. Now, dancer is actually not a terrible class in this game because it has swords. You know, usually in past games there would be some kind of bonus to give the dancers something beyond just letting a unit act again, because otherwise they'd be a little underpowered. In Fire Emblem 7, they had a bunch of different rings they could use to give different effects instead of going again, which was very helpful. I really liked that one. Fire Emblem 8, there was nothing. There was nothing in 8. Yeah, that's why Tethys sucks. Fire Emblem 9 and 10 both had herons, which were able, in some conditions, to sing to or let more than one unit act at the same time. Up to 4 even. You could, it's basically using one unit to let 4 go again. It was amazing. Herons were probably the best dancers we'll ever get in a game, even though they didn't dance. They just sang a little song. Anyway, dancers in this game, or dancer, because she's the only one you can get in the entire game. Not even her son can be a dancer, which honestly I'm okay with. Even though he dances, he's not a dancer. I don't get it. Anyway, they do have access to swords in this game, as with, I believe, Fire Emblem 6 had this, dancers with swords. I could be mistaken, but the Fu no Tsurugi, the game with Roy, I think that one could use swords as well. Anyway, so they can use swords. They're not absolute crap class for combat, but there's 2 main problems with it. The dancer class has terrible growth, and the dancer class has terrible stat caps. Both strength and magic cap out at 30. 30! That's terrible. Like, most physical units have a higher magic cap than that. I mean, what the heck? It's terrible. Anyway, so that being said, there are ways to make her better. First of all, you want to get her out of dancer, like I said. Once you hit level 10, get out of there. Now, choices are Pegasus Knight or Myrmidon. And it's a toss-up. It depends what you want to do, but because Myrmidon has a better skill, Vantage, as I've said many times, and Pegasus Knight has more direct access to Darkflyer. Pegasus Knight. You go with Pegasus Knight, and then, this is regardless of what path you want to take. You have Pegasus Knight, you get Darkflyer. That's the first priority always. Having a dancer that can go kill someone, and then let one of your units move again, it just feels broken. It feels really broken. Also, that's another reason why she's not necessarily the best unit in this game, because so many of your units can already get Gale Force, which is practically the same thing, if not better in many cases. So it kind of does render her a little obsolete, but having her with Gale Force and dancing skills It's pretty scary. Now, I feel I should mention, since dance isn't a skill, there is special dance, but we'll get into that later. Dance isn't a skill, you can only do it as a dancer, which means you can't just get the dance skill and then go do it in a different class, which is really unfortunate, but it's the only way you can do it. Anyway, you want to go to Darkfire to get Gale Force, as always. After that, you can choose what you want to do. There's a few options here, but if you want to do the dancer route, which I'll explain first, this is what you do. Then you'll go change her into a sword master. As a sword master, she'll get Astra, which is great for her, which is great for everybody, but it's a great skill in general, so it makes sense for her to get it. Also, it gives her Sword Fair, which increases her strength by 5 when using a sword, or magic by 5 when she's using an 11 sword. And unlike a lot of other characters, this skill is great with her because it helps her actually deal damage, especially with a strength cap of 30. You don't know how much that angers me, really. Anyway, so after getting her to level 15 Swordmaster, that's where you can, this is where you might want to consider changing it up. Now, as a Myrmidon, if you're not going to go back to Dancer at this point, you could have her go into Assassin and be a really freaking good Assassin. Alternatively, if you didn't want to go either of these routes, you go straight from Darkfire. After you get to Darkfire, you go to Pegasus Knight and then Bride, and she would be another good character. But what I suggest for my final build is after going to Swordmaster, go back to Dancer. Now, this is going to feel terrible because all your stats will go down, your caps will go down. It'll just be like, oh, what have I done? But it's worth it because she's the only Dancer you can get in the entire game. Therefore, I feel like she's worth it. Now, that being said, maybe you can make an argument for her staying as something else, but when you have so many other units that can do the job of what she would do, which is like Super Striker, Astra, lethality kind of stuff, when you have so many other options for that, having her as a dancer just makes sense. Just trust me on this one. Anyway, you turn her back into a dancer, and then you'll want to get Limit Breaker for her. And I know I say this about half the units in the entire cast, but she, of all people, needs this skill because freaking 30? Really? 30. Anyway, that'll help her out a lot in the damage dealing compartment. There's something wrong with me today, I'm sorry. Anyway, it'll help her a lot in the damage dealing department, as well as increasing her speed and skill, which is always a good thing. Her luck should be pretty high as well, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. Anyway, that's what I would recommend for that build, but there are other ways of doing it if you don't want her to be a crappy fighter. I prefer her as a slightly weaker fighter, but having the dancing capabilities, whereas other people might say, she's better as other things.
Alright guys, so here's a map of Olivia's possible classes and, the promotions, and I'm going to tell you which way to go, and it's going to be fun, and I don't really like that dancer sprite. Doesn't really fit her as well. Now, let's see, wasn't there another female dancing unit in Fire Emblem that had a personality kind of similar to Olivia's? Oh yeah. Anyway, so first of all, as I said before, she's going to go into Pegasus Knight as soon as she hits level 10. Right over there. Just hit it, seriously, like no reason to wait. Then after you get to level 20 Pegasus Knight, because like I've said, you should pretty much always get to level 20 in your base class so that you can get extra stats and crap. Once you get to level 20 Pegasus Knight, you can promote her into a dark. What is that? Oh, okay. This is wrong. No. Let me just fix that really quick. I'll get it. I got this, guys. I got this. Here we go. Voila! How do you like this drawing? I'm sorry. Stop it. Sorry, it's just stuck. It's stuck like that. Anyway, so after you get her to Darkfire, of course, get her to level 15. You can go to level 20 if you want. I don't care, but I'd probably just go to level 15. And then head on over to Swordmaster. Swordmaster, as I've said before, gives her Sword Fair and Astra, both very good. So make sure to get her up to level 15 because she really needs the Sword Fair bonus. After you get up to level 15 or 20 or whatever, I don't care. Actually, wait till 20 in Swordmaster because I just really liked her as a Swordmaster. I would change her back into a dancer. Now, as I mentioned before, there are other routes, such as going to Pegasus Knight, Darkflyer, to Falcon Knight, or Falco Knight as I still like to call them, and then into Bride. That would give you a pretty good, well-balanced moveset with good magic, physical attacks, and, you know, healing abilities and stuff. It would be quite good, I think. But like I said, if there's only one dancer in the game, I'm going to use her as a dancer. So back to dancer it is. Final class. That is my route for you guys. If you have any thoughts on this or comments on it, leave them below. I'd like to see what you guys think. For now, let's move on to the support conversations and other shizzle of that nature.
Olivia has a support with Chrom. You probably all know this because both in my Chrom video and in my Lucina video, which I don't know if I can count it as mine since my friend the Unyielding did all of the work, but whatever. By the way, in case you didn't get my update, the Unyielding will be helping me do more characters, specifically the children characters. So we're going to be doing some more of those like Severa, Noir, Inigo later on. Anyway, so what I was saying was Olivia and Chrom have a support, and it's personally the best for them. Olivia is Chrom's best support. I'd say almost hands down. But is Chrom necessarily the best support for Olivia? Well, the answer is of course no, because the answer to that question would be freaking my unit, of course. But if you don't want to invest my unit in Olivia, or some other reason, because you like some other character more, there are other options. Now, none of them are particularly amazing, but, you know, some of them are decent. Like, Gregor makes a decent father. Not a great one. Honestly, though, the father at this point doesn't make any difference because the child is a guy, so it's pretty much whoever you want. If you're not choosing Chrom or my unit, it's whatever. But I think Chrom is still probably the best choice because he's not my unit, which leaves my unit for someone else. And Chrom can really benefit, or rather Lucina can really benefit from the skills that Olivia brings to the table of inheritance. Anyway. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and leave a like or a thumbs up or a comment or whatever below if you feel like it. And stay tuned for more Baten Kaitos content. We're going to be just plowing through the freaking all of that game the next few weeks. Also, I'm planning to do more rants, but I haven't gotten around to actually making them yet because I need to actually like plan what I'm going to say and stuff so that I don't sound like a rambling idiot. Wait, isn't that the point of it? Shut up. I like to plan, okay? Anyway, so I'm going to be doing some videos on maybe a new game as well. There's a few new games I'm looking at, and we might try something new. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Oh no, the door. What? Just look at that. It's a dirty old basement.